Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday English Talk, the place where English feels human, simple, and real. I'm Emily, and as always, I'm here with my wonderful friend, James.
Hi, everyone. It is so good to be with you today. Before we begin, how are you feeling right now? Take a moment to just breathe and be present with us.
Oh, that is so important, James. English is not just the set of rules in a dusty book. It is about your life, your morning, and your small daily struggles.
Exactly. And before we dive into today's lesson, I have a tiny favor to ask. If you find our conversations helpful, please hit that follow button and share this episode with someone who's on the same English journey as you.
That's a great idea. Learning a language can feel lonely sometimes, but when you practice with a friend, everything becomes much easier and more fun. Like they say, two heads are better than one.
Absolutely. So if you have a study buddy, send them a link right now. Now, let's talk about my morning. It was a bit of a disaster. I was trying to fix my old coffee machine for nearly 30 minutes.
Oh no, James. When you say you were trying to fix it, I can almost feel your frustration. It sounds like you were working really hard, sweating a little, and maybe even getting a bit angry at the machine.
Exactly. You are 100% right, Emily. I was focusing on the effort. It was a difficult task, a real challenge, and I wasn't sure if I would succeed. That is the heart of try to do.
It's like a mountain, isn't it? When we use try plus to-infinitive, we're talking about a struggle. Imagine you're at the gym and you're trying to lift a very heavy weight. Your face is red, your muscles are shaking. That's the to-do feeling.
But then I decided to change my strategy. I called my brother, who is great with machines, and he told me, "James, stop hitting it. Try cleaning the filter with some vinegar."
Oh, that is a classic trick. And notice how the grammar changed there. Your brother said, try cleaning.
Yes, because cleaning the filter isn't hard work. It was just an experiment to see if it would solve the problem. I wasn't struggling to clean it, I was testing a solution.
That is the perfect way to see the difference. Try doing is like being a scientist in your own life. You're testing different paths to see which one works.
Let's look at another example. Imagine you're at a party and it's very noisy. You're trying to hear what your friend is saying.
In that case, you're focusing on the physical effort. You're leaning forward, covering one ear, and concentrating hard. You were trying to hear.
But if you still can't hear, your friend might say, "Try moving to the other room where it's quieter."
Exactly. Walking to another room is easy. It's not a struggle. It's just an experiment or suggestion to solve the problem of the noise.
I think our listeners are starting to feel the vibe of these two forms.
James, let's do a little interactive game for our listeners. I'm going to give you a problem, and you give me an effort sentence and an experiment sentence.
I'm ready. Give me the first problem.
Okay, the problem is my garden is dying. The plants are turning brown.
Okay. Effort. I am trying to save my roses, but the sun is too hot. Experiment. Why don't you try watering them in the evening instead of the morning?
Excellent! Next one. Problem. I want to be a better writer in English.
Effort. I try to write a short story every week. Experiment. I should try reading more English novels to get new ideas.
You see, listeners, the to-do is the mountain, and the doing are the different paths you take to climb it.
But Emily, let's talk about those moments when we get lost. I remember when I was traveling in Rome last year. I was completely lost in those narrow streets.
Oh, Rome is beautiful but confusing. What did you do?
Well, I didn't have GPS. I tried to find my hotel for 2 hours. I was walking in circles, looking at every street sign. It was a real effort.
That sounds exhausting. Did you ever find it?
Eventually, yes. But first, I tried asking a local waiter for directions. Then I tried using an old paper map I found in my pocket.
See? Asking a waiter for directions and using a map or your experiments. You are testing different ways to solve the lost problem.
Speaking of testing things, I had a funny disaster in the kitchen yesterday. I was making a traditional spicy soup.
I know you're cooking, James. What happened?
I accidentally put way too much chili. It was like fire. I tried to eat it because I didn't want to waste food, but it was impossible. My eyes were watering.
So it was a physical struggle. Tried to eat.
That's so true. Then I thought about how to fix it. I tried adding a spoonful of sugar. That didn't work. Then I tried putting in some heavy cream.
And did the heavy cream experiment work?
It did. The cream saved the soup. So adding sugar and putting in cream were my experiments. They were simple actions to see if the problem would go away.
This leads me to something very important for our listeners: communication etiquette.
Oh, tell us more about that.
Well, when we give advice in English, using try doing sounds much more polite and friendly.
Why is that?
Because if you say, try to do this, it sounds like you're giving someone a difficult task or an order. But if you say, try doing this, it sounds like a helpful suggestion. It's like saying, hey, maybe this will help you.
That's a great tip for B1 learners. If your friend is sad, don't say, try to be happy. That sounds like a hard job. Instead, say, try listening to your favorite music, or try calling your mom.
Precisely. It turns a command into a warm suggestion.
Emily, let's talk about technology. This is where people get confused the most. My computer froze yesterday.
Did you try to restart it?
I tried to press the power button, but it was stuck. So I tried unplugging it from the wall.
Perfect usage. Pressing the stuck button was the effort, and unplugging it was the experiment.
I think we should also talk about failure. Usually when we say, I tried to do something, it often implies that we didn't succeed.
That is a very subtle and important point, James. If I say, I tried to call you, it usually means I didn't reach you. Maybe the line was busy.
But if I say, I tried calling you, it sounds like one of many things I did. I tried emailing you, I tried texting you, and I tried calling you.
Yes. In the second case, calling was just one of the methods I used to contact you. I wasn't necessarily struggling with the phone. I was just testing different ways to find you.
Emily, what about mental effort?
Good question. Imagine you're a student and you have a very difficult exam tomorrow. You are trying to understand a complex math formula.
That is definitely a to-do moment. Your brain is working overtime. You're pushing your mind to reach a goal.
But then you get stuck. So you decide to try watching a YouTube video about that formula to see if a visual explanation helps.
Spot on. Watching a video is easy. You're using it as an experiment or a tool to help your bigger struggle.
Let's talk about health, because many of our B1 learners use English to talk about their lifestyle.
Great idea. If I say, I try to lose 5 kilograms, what do you see?
I see you running in the park every morning, avoiding pizza, and checking the scale. It's a long-term challenge.
But then if I say, I tried going to the gym at 5 a.m., but I was too tired, what does that mean?
It means you tested that specific method. You wanted to see if the early morning gym experiment would help your weight loss goal.
Exactly. What about when we talk to our friends who are feeling sad or stressed? Emily, if I'm stressed, what do you suggest?
Well, I wouldn't tell you to struggle. I would give you experiments. I might say, try meditating for 5 minutes, or try going for a walk in nature.
And if I say I'm trying to relax but my phone keeps ringing, I'm back in the struggle mode.
Exactly. You're making an effort to be calm, but the environment is making it difficult.
Let's dive a bit deeper into the workplace. This is where B1 learners often need to be very precise.
Imagine you have a boss who is very strict. You are trying to impress her with your new project.
That is a big, heavy goal. You're working late, doing extra research and being very careful. You are trying to impress.
But then you think about how to make your presentation better. You decide to try using some colorful charts instead of just text.
Perfect. Using charts is a simple tactic. You are experimenting with the format to see if it produces the result of impressing your boss. This is why English is so beautiful. These tiny changes in grammar tell a whole story about your experience.
And we don't want you to be afraid of these stories. If you make a mistake and say, try to do, when you meant an experiment, it is okay.
People will still understand you. Communication is about the heart and the connection, not just about being a perfect grammar machine.
Exactly. We often see learners stop talking because they're thinking about the to or the ing. Please, don't stop. Just keep flowing.
The more you speak, the more your brain will naturally start to feel these differences. It becomes like a melody that you just know.
Before we move towards the end of our talk, James, let's give our friends a daily habit to help them practice.
I love habits. They make learning feel like part of your life.
Every evening before you go to sleep, think of one thing you were trying to achieve that day. Use try to do.
And then think of one thing you tried doing to make your day better. Maybe you tried drinking a new type of tea, or you tried taking a different route to work.
This simple exercise will train your brain to see life through these two lenses, the effort and the experiment.
I tried practicing this myself last week, and it really helped me feel more aware of my English.
See, James just used tried practicing because it was an experiment he conducted to improve his awareness.
Didn't even notice I did that. It's becoming natural.
That's the goal. We want all of you to reach that point where the English just comes out of your mouth like a conversation with an old friend.
We really hope this deep dive into try to do and try doing has given you a lot of clarity and maybe a bit of courage too.
If you found this helpful, please support Everyday English Talk. Subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and tell us in the comments what is something you are trying to do this week.
We read every comment, and we are so proud of your progress. You are doing a great job, honestly.
Learning a language is a journey, and we are so happy to be walking beside you on this path.
Keep being brave, keep being curious, and most importantly, keep speaking.
We will see you in the next episode of Everyday English Talk.
Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Wait, James, one last thing before we go.
What is it, Emily?
I just wanted to remind them that if they feel stuck, they can always try re-listening to this episode while they're doing something else, like washing the dishes.
Ah, another great experiment. Try re-listening. It's easy and it helps the information sink in.
Okay, now we're really going.
See you soon.
Bye.